Welcome grade 12 to our fantastic live show here at the Mindset Studios. You're here with me, Megs, and of course my compadre Lou, because Abram has flown all the way to go see his granddaughter. Shame. So we wish him well. But it's so great to be here with Lou. How have you been?
All right. Living.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in about a week. It's been tragic. But nevertheless, what are we doing today? Please inform us.
Social organization and succession. Just wait a minute. Let me repeat that. I'm doing wonderful, right? I haven't seen her in a week, which made it so much easier.
He's so nice to me, even though he thinks he's so smart today, which he's not.
Rubbish. You must see the answer she's been giving. It's terrible. Right. So we're having a look at social organization and succession.
I haven't told them where to get their info yet. I just asked. You
Sorry,
see, he just jumps.
Going.
Just jumps. Okay, let me just tell you quickly before he takes over like the dominant male he is, being the lion. Anyway, where to get the notes that he just wanted to spring in and read, that would be at mindset.co.za/learn extra with an X. And I will be on Facebook for this whole hour with Lou, answering any questions you have about our fantastic topic today. Thank you, Macmillan, for proudly sponsoring our show. And Lou, let's get right in it.
Okay, so let's leave it to the professionals to talk.
Yeah, struggling.
Right, so we're having a look at social organization and succession. Yes, it sounds like big words, but it's not. So don't stress. Let's jump into it immediately because we like to get there, right? Remember, I always say that. We got to look at definitions, but we'll get to those in a few seconds. In this lesson, we're going to have a look at predation. Whoa, we need to get color here. Come on, stick with, no, not color. We need to get one of those. We need to get
He's
a pen.
still learning.
Right, I'm still learning. You always learn every day. Right, so we're going to have a look at predation and prey relationships. Okay, we're going to discuss the different types of competition. Yes, and then we're going to have a look at organization and community structures. Nice, easy, simple. Now, guys, you've done this quite a few times already. Okay, so you can relax with this section, but understand that this is actually quite a nice section. Even though you think, oh, not again, I know my boys do it all the time. Guys, relax. This is nice. This is easy marks for you guys, right? But it's difficult, so make sure you understand it. Okay, so let's start off with the first one. Okay, predator-prey relationship. Let's first get in. What is a predator? Okay, what is a predator? Megan, can you tell me what a predator is?
Must I give you an example of what it is?
Yeah, like for example, Megan is a predator.
He thinks I'm a predator, but I'm really not. I promise. Kidding. Anyway, a predator would be a lion, a cheetah, a wild dog.
What makes a predator?
A species of animal that attacks another.
Yeah, so then you get the wildebeest attacking another wildebeest. But let me carry on.
But for food, like when you
eat something,
when you hunt, is that a word? There, when you hunt.
There we go.
Hunts for food.
It goes and hunts for food, so it grabs everything. So let's have a look at it. A community, let's first get to the community. A community is a group of species living in a particular area. Okay, so that's a community. Remember, community is different species living together in the same in the same area. Right, okay. An animal that hunts, catches, and kills another animal is called a predator.
See, I was close, so let's not even...
She didn't mention anything about hunting, killing, and eating.
He's lying.
Right, so she just said that attacks. Right? Attacks. Now, we'll get to attacking later. She'll understand why I say she was like simply... You know, if it was out of 10 marks, she would have got a half. So I'll give her the half. Right, so kills is called a predator. The animal that is captured and killed is called the prey. Right, so a prey gets eaten by the predator. Right, so if I have a look at it, I'm trying to put it in a nice way. You look at your cats, right? It's a predator. It stalks this, give me a bird. A pigeon,
a canary,
right?
no. Like a tweety.
Oh, you get Sylvester, right? That black cat with the white, and he's stalking, right? Giving it nice, looking where he's going, and he goes crazy, and he sees Tweety in the cage, right? And Tweety's whistling there, giving him
Cute
horns,
little
and he
canary.
runs and sticks his whole head in the cage, and he catches Tweety, and you see a little yellow feather coming out, and then he swallows. There we go. That's a predator, which is Sylvester, and Tweety is the prey. Yes? Yeah?
Yeah, much better.
Cool. So, you happy with that? That is the predator-prey. Right, now, we're having a look at this part, which is the most important part. It's the feeding relationship between a predator and the prey. Right. The feeding relationship between a predator and a prey. Now, if I have a look at the feeding relationship, we're not talking about, well, a lion is going to go sit down at the table, right? And he has a good relationship with a blow wildebeest, and he's going to call him over and say, "But come and chow here with me, let's have a good talk." That is not the relationship that we're talking about, right, Max?
No.
It's not that type of relationship. This is,
More like I'm going to chow you.
yeah, something like that. Why doesn't he come for dinner? That's cool.
We'll
Right.
have you.
So the relationship we're talking about is what happens to the predator, what happens to the prey. Okay, so that is the relationship we're looking at. And we're talking about certain feeding. So if we have a look at it, the predator-prey feeding relationship determines the size of a population. So here it is. Determines the size of the two populations. Now, why would I say two populations? I mean, if you are a lion, right? The leader, the main man, right? And you run and you go catch buck, right? And you kill them and you bite them and you know what I'm trying to say, right? And then you eat all the insides and you give it horns and you get nice and big and strong. Now you are a lion, right? If you've eaten one, who's died? If there was 10 springbuck, well, no, let's use rooibok.
Yeah.
Okay, impala, that's what a rooibok is. So you get 10 impala, right, and you get 2 lions. And these 2 lions capture one of the impala. Okay, try this out. How many impala are left? I'm not going to ask Megan because her maths is terrible. Okay, there is 9. Okay, there is 9. Right? How
kill
many
me.
lions are left? There is 2. So how does the size of the 2 populations, how does eating, the feeding relationship, determine the size of the 2 populations, right? The one started with 2 and it ended off with 2. That's how it works, right? That's not just the main thing. That's just what happened on one hunt. We need to have a look at the overall contribution of what's happening. So let's look. Okay, these 2 populations regulate each other in a negative feedback mechanism. Now, one of my boys asked me about negative feedback mechanisms. Now, a negative feedback mechanism is actually quite cool, right? A negative feedback mechanism is when one benefits, the other one benefits. When one doesn't benefit, the other one doesn't benefit. And you might look in that as symbiosis. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if there is 50 impala, there will be 10 lions. If it goes down to 25 impala, there's going to be
What?
5 lions. You see, she's not paying attention. There'll be
I
five
was just
lions.
fixing my ear. I'm sorry.
Typical. Do you understand where I'm coming from? 50 impala, 10 lions. 25 impala, you'd get 5 lions. You see how they work with each other. And there's a reason for it. So let's have a look at it. I'm going to bring this down because it's actually quite cool. Okay, yeah, we call this, oh, I've put this picture quite high up. We call this a predator-prey relationship. Okay, a predator-prey relationship. And the nice one that I've put on here, there it is. Look at that. That's my wife's favorite animal. What is that?
Balded eagle.
What is that?
Fish eagle.
There we go. It's a fish eagle. Very nice.
I was close. It was bald, so I was just, assuming. Anyway.
Bald. Okay, so
I'm a human.
this fish eagle's got that beautiful cry, right? My wife loves it. Now, if you have a look at it, I have the predator. There it is. There's the predator, this beautiful feathered thing, right? And then you got the prey, which you have a look here is the fish. There it is. It's food. It's fish, right? It's a predator-prey relationship. Now, without the one, the other one doesn't work, okay? Without the one, the other one doesn't work. And I explain that in a few minutes. Right, so what I've done is I'll pull this more down, and then I've got this thing. Okay, and I'm going to extend the page so that I can show you what I'm talking about. Okay, now, there is a graph on the screen, okay? But I know that you can't see that properly for some reason, because I don't like the way it looks either. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it, what it looks like. First of all, I'm going to take the solid line over here, and I'm going to move it, and I'm going to draw with it. So stay with me, and I'm going to go up, around, down, and have a look at what I'm doing. It's creating a wave-like motion, okay? And if you have a look at that, that is your prey. We happy? Okay, now I'm going to change the color, and I'm going to use pink, right? And I'm going to do that. Just have a good look. There it is. And that is your, I'm going to write here, Predator. Hopefully you can read that, because my handwriting on this board today is terrible. Right, so you can see the two, the pink and the yellow. Okay, don't forget, when you do a graph, you need a thing called a what?
A ruler. Calculator.
It's called a key.
Ooh.
So you can understand which line is which. Because no matter how much
do
we
need a
try,
ruler
you
though.
cannot do a ruler.
Let's
Right,
not
so,
forget.
Cool. So at the bottom, I've got the time, and I've got the number of individuals. Now, if you have a look at the prey, okay, it's in yellow. Have a good look at it. We start off at 100, and we go up to round about 850. It drops back down to about 200, then goes back up to about 850, and then back down and up again. Have you noticed how it's going between the two all the time? Now, when does this happen? When does this happen? And it's times in years. Okay? This is done in times of years. Now, we can actually do this. Trust me. We can actually do this in 1 year. Okay? We can actually say that this whole thing, so if I go from there to there, okay, we can say that is 1 year. And let me pull this down a bit so you can actually see what I'm talking about. 1 year. Okay, there it is. That whole thing can be 1 year. And this can be in the months. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Now have a good look at what I've done here. Every time, watch this, every time that the predators start increasing, once it's reached its peak over there, look what starts happening. Okay, have you noticed how the predators start getting more and more and more? And once the predators are at its peak, what's it actually starting to do? Where are you going? Okay, let me get that back here. That wasn't very nice of you. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. Once it's got it at its peak, okay, you'll notice that these things start dying. So, this is how it actually works. Now, summer season. The things are favorable. The earth is favorable. Wherever you are is favorable. What does that mean? Do you know what it means to be favorable?
Liked.
Liked.
Favorable.
Yes, liked, but you need to give me more.
Like? You see,
Likes
I'm testing him.
and like. That's good. That's good, Meg.
Half. Another half for that.
Another half. Another half. That means that it is nice. There is a lot of
Nice.
food. See, different word. There's a lot of food. There's a lot of water, right? There's love in the air. So what happens during that season, Megan?
Lots of babies.
Very nice. There's a lot of babies, okay? So that's what happens when it shoots up like this, okay? Now, I want you to think about this as 1 year. So there's a lot of babies. It means it shoots up. Why is there a lot of babies? Because it is a lovely area. We're all happy, and it's joy, and we're mating, and there's food, and everybody's happy. The conditions are favorable. Okay, now, once the prey have increased their sizes, what happens to the predators? Okay, wait, let's put it this way. Why is it that the buck are improving? It's because the conditions are favorable. What makes them favorable? It's summer, which means the grass is growing nice and long, which means there's more food. Yes. So if there's more food, they have full bellies, which means they're happy and they make new kids. Yes. Now, the lions, what happens is, as this buck starts increasing and become more and more and more, all of a sudden there's more food for them. If there's more food for them, their bellies are nice and full, so they also mate and have new cubs. So as these guys increase, so does the prey, okay? And as the prey's at its peak, right, when there's a lot of the prey, all of a sudden these animals start decreasing because now we're killing one, but we're not replacing it with a baby. So what actually happens? They start becoming less and less and less. And as the food starts decreasing, what's going to happen to the lion? Megan?
Not going to have any food to hunt.
So which means they're going to?
Starve.
Very nice. And they're going to die.
Yeah.
Right. So there we go. So that's why they decrease. Right. Okay. So what I want you to do, can you see how they work together? One increases, the other one increases, one decreases, one doesn't decrease. That is called the predator-prey relationship. Now, my word, that is like cooking my brain. What do you think, Megan?
That was a bit too much.
Okay, so I think you need a break because I need a break, right?
We need a break.
And we need a break
you
together.
need a break. I think so. Okay. So we'll be back right after the break. Go get some water, jump up and down. We'll see you right after. Welcome back, grade 12s. Hope you had a great ad break and you are feeling refreshed, energized, and ready for this section because, like Lou said, you guys don't get to do it in school and that often, and now you have the chance to actually revise because we've been doing this the previous hour, so now we actually really know what's going on. So you guys don't look like you're posting though, so it seems that Lou's actually explaining properly. I'm very impressed. So where to get all the information, don't forget facebook.com/learnextra, and also if you have Twitter @learnextra. So get posting, post us questions, and we'll definitely answer them.
Well, I had a look at the screen and the posting in that, and it was somebody that liked the link, hey?
Yes.
They like the link and they don't like us. This is becoming ridiculous.
We posted photos and no one likes
No,
us.
it's fine. I'll take it like a man. Right, so we're going to go to the next part, and this is the part where me and you have got problems, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. The part we're having a look at is competition. Oh, man.
See, Lou has a very, driving competitiveness inside him. He just always wants to be the best.
That's it. I don't like losing. I'm not a
Hates
bad
it.
loser. If I lose to somebody that is better than me, well, then so be it. I'll have to try again, but I'm competitive all the time. Now, in this part, we have different types of competition. Now, this competition is very, very, very important because they like asking it to you, right? And the competition together helps with a certain thing called carrying capacity, right? And you should know what that is. But I will explain that as well, so don't stress too much. The first one I'm going to have a look at after I've changed my pen to blue, I'm going to try, is intra-specific competition. Intra-specific competition. But I want you to have a look at a specific part of intra-competition, and that is the intra. Can you see it? The intra-competition. Okay, now, how to explain this to you? Okay, intra-competition is very, very, very important because if you don't have that, we're not going to get anywhere in life. So let me put it on the board. I'm going to show you what it's about, and then I'm going to explain it in more detail. Okay, so the first thing we're going to have a look at is this type of competition occurs between individuals of the same species. In other words, impala versus impala. They fight. Now, why would they fight? I mean, for goodness sake, they need each other. Why would they fight, Megan?
Food, male dominancy.
That's nice. I like that. Food and male dominancy. See, she's getting it. And this is for a person who doesn't do life science.
Just
right?
saying.
She's getting this. I must be good. Well,
Good
otherwise she's
teacher
listening
you
to
are.
other people. Right. So they fight for food, right? For their best part of the land. Okay? So, for example, lions would fight against other lions because of their territory. And this person's got the best territory because it's with water, and if buck come and drink their water, they have a lot of food. So those lions want his territory so that he can So that they get more food, and which means they get more youngsters and they feel better. So that is intraspecific competition. When it comes to buck, you will see that they will bump heads so that they can breed, because only the strongest genes are allowed to breed. Okay, female are also difficult when it comes to buck. Right, now the reason why I say that is because, now ladies, don't get offended when I said that, because it's actually a good thing. Right, so don't get offended by it. Right, when we look at buck, the ladies are very, very, how can I put this in a nice way? Stuck up. Nice, there we go. They're very stuck up. The reason for that is they only want the best of the best.
Yep.
So it's a good thing. That means that they only want the top genes.
The top dog.
The top dog. So they will fight. They want the top dogs to fight to find out which is the best breed, so that they can breed with them and their offspring is nice and strong. And if they have the best genes in them, they will be able to live longer and survive and run away from predators. Do you understand why they are stuck up? It's a very, very good thing. Okay, us humans, we breed because it doesn't matter. The weak breed, the strong breed, the dominant ones breed, the less dominant ones breed. Everybody breeds in humans, right? But with animals, it's not like that. The dominant one breeds. Yes. Okay, cool. Now, intraspecific competition. I'm going to bring this down so we can have a look at it. Intraspecific competition is very intense. Okay? For example, right? Kittens. Kittens are so cute, haven't you noticed? I'm about to have puppies. So that's cool.
Oh,
Labrador
give
puppies.
Me one? Oh.
Labrador puppies. Right. So I'm organizing getting Labrador puppies, right? But let's have a look at kittens, right? Kittens, they compete for their mother's milk. Now, you will always see that the dominant one goes for the best boob. Did you know that?
No.
Promise you. There's some that's a little bit less than others, and the dominant one always gets the best boob. Okay? And he will fight till the bitter end for that boob. Simple. Okay? And if the weak one is in its way, it's going to get stomped on, it's going to be pushed on, and everything. The strongest one needs the best stuff. Okay? So that's when it comes to kittens. Or, try this, a male lion competes for territory or for a mate. We spoke about that. Now, humans, have you noticed that out in the open, we all get together and it doesn't matter who's dominant and who isn't, and we'll mate and that's all cool. How about this twins and triplets? What do you think about twins and triplets?
Who's the dominant one?
Will there be a dominant and a recessive one?
Yeah,
Why
there
would you
should
say
be. Because no two twins are the same personality. One
Well-
could be more liked, one couldn't, one... It depends.
Yeah, it gets to that. But now if you look at biology-wise, inside the tummy,
Oh,
once
no,
mom
no,
is
no,
that
no,
big,
no.
what's wrong?
Then they're not dominant.
Yes, they are.
One
You won't
twin
believe
is...
it. Even though they're twins, one's dominant over the other. Right? So one will always come out a little bit smaller than the other, because the one that's dominant is grabbing more food than the other. Okay? Here's the dominant one. He will lie like he wants, the other one must suffer. That's how it works. That is nature. Dominancy is the best thing in the world. They compete against each other all the time. You with me? Okay, now, that's a nice thing. If we have a look at the male lion, we were talking about the male lion, right? If we have a look at the male lion and he's fighting for a territory, let's have a look at what territorial... That's terrible. Okay? Territoriality. There we go. You see how it might just roll off the tongue?
Getting it.
Sorry?
Said you're getting it.
We're getting it. Territoriality is how many animals compete for space and for food. A certain area may be able to support only a certain number of animals of a particular species. One of these animals will decide what territory it wants for itself and will then mark it with a border so that they can show what its territory is. Okay, so for example, if we have a look at lions. Wait, hold on. Humans. You know that humans have territories. Hey, did you know we have territories? For example, give me a clue.
A territory.
Yes.
In what concept?
Well,
That
humans.
depends.
How do humans have territory?
Your house, your territory, your
Very
domain.
nice. Your house and your territory. So what actually happens is, us as humans, we go buy a house. And in that house, what do? We put up walls on the outside because this is my area. And it's mine, nobody else. And yes, we do not go mark our territory. You don't see the male going every day to a corner, lift his leg, to a tree and lift his leg like the dogs and the cats and all that other stuff do, right? Right? We put up walls, okay? Because we can build walls. Have you ever seen a cat build a wall for his territory? Right? Not going to work. But now, how do I know it's a territory thing? Let's ask Megan. Let's see what she thinks. Okay, so, Megan,
Llewellyn.
you come home. Right. You come home, and as you walk in the front, no, you're not. You are home, and you're making supper, which is never going to happen. But anyway.
I make supper every night, actually.
You're clever. Right.
Take that back.
Sorry. So she's sitting there making supper like she always does, right? And this man, nobody knows who he is. You've never seen him in your life. Nothing. He walks in, he opens the door, he looks at you, he says, I'll have some coffee and some food, please. Takes his shoes off, sits on the couch, puts his hand behind his head, and puts it and stretches and watches the TV. What do you think your dad's going to
They're
do?
like, excuse me?
What do you think your dad's going to do?
My dad is going to get, when like a peacock gets like,
Yeah.
he'd get very angry and tell him, what is
That's
he
the
doing in the house?
He wouldn't make it to the couch,
Nope.
right? What her dad will do is he'll walk in and he will grab the back of his neck over here. So as he's walking in, he'll be walking in like this, and the dad will grab him and go, come here, boy, let me help you out here. Right?
Good
And
old
chuck
nerve.
him out, right? And if that doesn't happen, right, and if he doesn't want to listen, then you call the cops.
Yes.
Because the cops help you protect your territory, okay? Because we can't do it like other animals. If you know what I mean. Well, some of us do, but... Okay, so you will fight till the bitter end to protect his territory because you are safe, you are comfortable, everything goes nicely. That is why when somebody comes and robs your house and that, you feel violated because somebody's been in your territory without you being there and you cannot protect it. Do you understand? So that is territoriality with us. See how I just rolled off my tongue this time. Right, so do you understand territoriality? Right, now, if I have a look at the next one. But before I go, can you remember intraspecific? Okay, now we're going to get on to the next one, which is quite cool. Okay, the next one is interspecific competition. Now, this time I want you to have a look at the inter. Okay, now watch this. Athletics, that's the season we're in at the moment at my school. Right. And we have the part where we go between houses, and that's all the kids are somewhere in this house, somewhere in that house. Do you also have that at your school when you were at school?
Yeah.
Okay. And it was
Inter-house
called
athletics.
inter-house athletics. Remember? Let me pull this up again. Inter-house athletics. Okay? At the end of the year, once you have competed a couple of times, what do we have? Inter-high.
Yes.
Inter-high is
Yeah.
between different schools. You get where I'm coming from. So watch. Inter means the same species. Inter means different species. Now, if we have a look at interspecific competition, read over it, and then I'll take it from there. Okay, this is a type of competition that occurs between individuals of different species. It is similar as interspecific competition, but it is not as intense, right? The competition between the individuals of the same species. So in other words, interspecific, the competition is very powerful, right? Inter is not as powerful. For example, let me just put it down this for you. You have a bunch of lions, right? And they've got their territory. And what do lions eat? They eat impala. Let's just make it impala. You also get a leopard. What does the leopard eat? Impala. So now they're going to fight with each other. There is a bit of competition between the two because they both eat the same food, right? But they're not the same species. So they're not going to fight to mate. They're going to fight, for instance, for food. But now if a big lion comes along, the leopard knows and it runs up a tree and hides. Okay, so he knows he's going to get hurt. Where the lion, if the leopard comes down, the lion's not going to give up his food. The lion is never going to, the leopard is never going to challenge the lion for its food. It's too small. That is the competition. So they will fight for the same food, but not physically fight. Okay? The leopard might try now and then, he's going to come off second best, but do you get what I'm trying to say? Okay, cool. So that is it. Now, let's have a look at, if we carry on, pulling it down, when two species with the same or similar, where is it? Ecological niches.
That is a long word.
Not really long. It's like this big, right? And what does it mean? What does a niche, mean?
I actually can't remember.
A niche means the same, at once the same thing. So, for example, the lions, they live to eat impala. Leopards, they live to eat impala. The niche, the ecological niche, is the impala. Okay, you with me? So I've tried to make it as easy as possible. Okay, cool. So the ecological niche occupies the same habitat. Okay, the ecological niche will overlap to a greater or lesser extent. I'll explain that in 2 seconds. Right? The competition that arises will lead to one of the two possible outcomes. One, competitive exclusion, or competitive co-exclusion. Now, coexistence, sorry. It means that, if I have a look at it, when they overlap, when the niches overlap, so when this one eats impala and this one eats impala, but they're in the same territory, they're going to go for the impala that's in the same group. When they overlap, there's going to be competition between them. Okay? And the competition is either going to be competitive exclusion or competitive coexistive. Right. So I think when we get back from a break, I'm going to explain those, because you need to think about those things before we get there. Okay? What do you think, Megs?
I think so. Team Lou Megs will be right back after the break. Welcome back, Matrix. I hope you had a great ad break. Lou and I certainly had a breather, got some water, had a look at all your comments that we are absolutely loving to the max, and we hope that our teaching, well, Lou's teaching, my commenting, does in fact bring you a little closer and help you understand more about life sciences. But we have a lot to get through, so I'm going to hand it over to Lou.
That's it. Now, we are talking about competition, right? And it's conflict. Remember, we palms up and we giving it horns, right? We're fighting. Now, one of these things. But now, if we have a look at it, before we left, we had a look at the different types of competition. Right. The first one is competitive exclusion. Wait, can I change my pen? Today, well, I don't like that one. Let's try green.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure. For
Gift Malahali, I hope I said it right, sorry, says, how will they ask a question in the exam paper about inter-specific competition? How would they ask it? Yeah.
Okay. So before I carry on with this, so listen to this. Inter as in the T-E-R.
T-E-R, yeah.
Okay. Interspecific. Okay. They will say to you, a land, okay, and ask, the Kruger National Park, right, has a population of 10,000 impala, right? And inside that 10,000 impala, you have certain animals that eat impala. And the two that are going to eat is your lion and your leopard. Right. Now, the reason why there's a certain amount of lion and a certain amount of leopards, okay, is because of the amount of impala there are. If there's less impala, it means there's going to be less lions and less what the thing I was talking about? Less leopards, right? Now,
yeah.
They will say, what happens, right, if I took the leopards away? Then, of course, there's no interspecific competition, which means the lions would get bigger because there's more food for them. You get that? If I took the lions away, then there would be more leopards because they will interact. But these two animals have to coexist because they live together. Okay, it's a how do I say it? The leopards survive in in grass, not in grass areas, in forest-like type of areas, but not forest. You understand? It's like bushveld, right? Where the lions are mostly in grasslands. Okay, so they both eat in their environments, or their place where they stay is completely different. So they will say, how come if you take one out, will the other one start blooming? Okay, and then they will say, what will happen? A nice question would be, what is the niche of a leopard and a lion? That's the first one. Then they can also ask, what is the competition between the leopard and the lion? Okay, how does this competition affect the population size of an impala? Do you understand? Okay, so those are the type of questions they can ask. Does that help?
Much better. Thank you.
I mean, to get questions is it takes time, because you actually got to think about it. So just offhand giving you something. Right, now, competitive exclusion. Exclusion is the main word here. If I can get my green back again. My exclusion is my main word here, right? Now, the whole thing about this is competition where I'm going to explain to you, one of the two competitor species is much more successful than the other. The successful species survives and the other species disappears. Now, you've got to understand how this works. If I take, how am I going to put this in? If I take a lion, right, and a leopard, cool, you with me, and I put them in a big, huge cage, like at the zoo, a nice big cage, right? And I take away all the trees and I put in a couple of buck, right? The lion will be able to hunt and it will eat, but so will the leopard. But the lion is stronger than the leopard. So the lion will steal the food of the leopard all the time. So the lion will survive and become nice and strong, and what's going to happen to the leopard? It's going to die out. So can you understand how this is going to work? The leopard will die out. The lion will stay nice and strong. Okay, now that's what happens sometimes when we come to what is extinction? That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, that's what happens
Like the
with
quagga.
extinction, right?
Like the quagga.
Like the quagga. Now, if you have a look here, I mean, all I had to do was turn to my board and I would have explained it. Now, here it goes. This is the result of extinction.
Wow.
Right? The result of extinction of most of the organisms that have ever become extinct on Earth. Okay, where one is stronger than the other, so they bully and they get rid of because there's not enough food. You understand? That's the first type of competition, right? Earth, if I have a look at it, extinction on Earth, and has a significant part to play in the process of evolution. That's why we go through evolution, okay? Because people are getting stronger and bigger and happier. Yes. Now, the next one is coexistence. Okay, here we go. Competitive coexistence. Now, the co means together. Okay, now, competition where they exist, coexistence, which means that they can live together, right, even though they compete, but they're not going to affect each other. Okay, for example, the leopard and the lion. Okay, the next one, I've got a nice picture at the bottom of it, and it's quite cool. You'll understand how they compete. They don't have to compete for something. They change their structure so that they don't have to compete for certain things. So let's have a look at it. Okay, coexistence occurs when two competing species coexist in the same ecosystem. That's why the leopard and the lion can live with each other, right? Because they coexist with each other. Okay, I'm going to move it there. The organism will have an overlapping niche. See, can you remember the overlapping niche? What they eat and what they do. Overlapping niche, right? And compete for the same resources, but coexist because they use the resources slightly different. This is called resource partitioning. Okay, I'm going to explain that now. So they can use the things in different ways. So they coexist because they use the resources in different ways. Now that doesn't make sense, does it?
No.
Trust me, once you see the picture, it will click like a light bulb. Right. So let me just finish this. Temporal partitioning is when two species use the same resources but at different times. Like, for example, the fruit bat will come out at night and eat, right? But the birds will come out in the day and eat the fruit. So they don't fight because they come out at different times, so there is no competition there. Does that make sense? Hey, how cool is that? Now, the second one, remember we had a look at the first one, which said there that they use their resources in different ways. Have a look at that. There is 3 animals, right? And they're all eating from the exact same tree. Okay, now this one, this brother here, he doesn't eat from the bottom. It's not worth his while, okay? The leaves at the top are nice and scrumptious and perfect for him. He doesn't have to hurt his neck, yes? Now, the kudu over here is the same thing for him. He can't reach up there, right? But the one that's level to him is going to be perfect. So he eats out of the trees at the bottom, okay, in the middle. He doesn't want to go down to the bottom. His leaves on top. Why make your life difficult? Hey? And then the last one, you get the deka, which is right here at the bottom. He eats the bottom leaves, right at the bottom. You understand? So they don't compete against each other. They use the resources at for different things. Not for different things, but different parts of it or different areas of it. The deka will eat at the bottom, the kudu will eat in the middle, and the giraffe at the top. Can you understand? Has that light bulb gone on now? Megan?
Bing! See my sound effects?
Okay, so this is using the resources at different times. Well, this is using the resources at different levels, and then you get the time one where they use it at different times of the day. Those are the 2. Right, I hope that's made sense and it's clicked. Right, I don't think I've put anything more on the slide. That's it, so we need to go to the next one. Now, that was all about competition. It's nice, it's easy, and it's simple.
Can I tell?
Yes, you can tell me.
Capello says here's a competitive exclusion. It's like a joke. So the question is, why did the lion break up with his girlfriend?
No.
Because she was a cheetah.
Oh, no.
You're killing
That
me,
is
bro.
terrible.
Killing me.
I like that. That is nice, actually. Because she was a cheetah.
Well done, Capello.
Let's get back to the work.
Meanwhile, yeah.
Social organization and community. The whole point with social organization and community is how they work together, how they interact, the community interact with each other, right? Now, the nice thing about this part is social organization happens in animals. It helps the population, for instance, right? The animal's population increases the chance of the individual population surviving. So in other words, you have a greater chance of surviving in a population than if you have by your ace, by yourself, hey? I mean, think about it. They always tell you late at night you don't walk by yourself, right?
No.
You always walk with a bunch of friends and mates. Why? Because if you're walking by yourself, you're vulnerable. If you bet with a lot of people, you are not. You're nice and strong and solid. Right. So that's what happens here. Okay? That is a big thing. A lot of animals live like that for a big specific reason. And I will show you, right? Different species of animals have different strategies. For example, herbivores, here we go. Herbivore animals may form big herds or flocks. Flocks for birds and herds for zebra and that. So what I've done is I've taken a nice picture, which Megan has seen already, so she can see if she remembers how to do this.
Oh, no.
What do you mean, oh no?
Because I know you're just going to torment
No,
me if I get it
I'm not going to
wrong.
torment you. I'm not going to torment you. Now, if you have a look at the zebra, right? There they are. Look how beautiful they are. Okay? Now, by the way, is a zebra a white horse with black stripes or a black horse with white stripes? Megan, you can tell me your answer except for mentioning
Stripes
the movie
movie?
Stripes.
I think it's white with black stripes.
She thinks it's a white horse with black stripe, and I think it's a black horse with white stripes, just to make it difficult. Right, it doesn't really matter. Okay, now, have a look at the picture. If you're looking at me, on your right-hand side, you will see a zebra all there by himself. Look at it. You can see the zebra perfectly by themselves. Can you see them? They're nice and perfect. You can see them with ease. Now, you can see the whole zebra. They are individuals. Now, they're not that individual, but they are individuals. They're standing by themselves, or with one or two. Right. Now, the predator can see them quite easily. If I have a look at this bunch, look at this. Okay? You cannot see each individual zebra. They cling together. They look like a whole bunch. Do you understand where I'm coming from? And there's a reason for that. When a predator runs at them, if they bunch up together, they cannot find the weak one, right? And they all look strong, and he gets confused. If you take an individual that pops out, they're going to say, here's the weak one, so they'll go for him. You understand? Second of all these stripes confuse the lion like you have no idea. That's why they stick together. You have more chance as a zebra to survive if you stick with a group than if you leave the group. You understand? Now, the reason why lions go for this, they normally get the weakest one, because the weakest gene dies out and the strongest gene survives. So it's a good thing that this happens. Right. Now, if I have a look at it, I hope you could all see that nicely. The next one, several species. What does several mean?
Numerous, a number of, a lot.
Does it mean actually 7?
No.
Okay, so as long as we're on the same page.
Got
I've
it.
taught her well. Right, it just means a couple. There's a number of them. It's not precisely 7. Right. Okay, now, predators form packs. Now, what does a pack mean? Right, it's not a pack of cards, it's a pack. It means they form togetherness, one. Right. They hunt together, they live together, they do everything together. Why would they do that? Just think about it. It makes hunting so much easier. If I took a lion, right, and I've been doing this all the time, I like lions and leopards because they're beautiful animals. So you take your lions, and they got 50, no wait, they're not that big,
No,
10.
10 max.
10 lionesses, and they go on a hunt. And you have a leopard, which is a single leopard, going on a hunt. Which has more chance of catching the prey?
Lion.
Because she cheats. Right? Put it this way. You decide, I know you guys are big grade 12s. and I don't mean big as in, I'm talking about mind-wise. So you don't play little games that like my kids play. Catches.
Catches.
Can you remember catches when you were a baby in grade 8 and 9? Okay? Now, catches is quite a cool thing to look at. If you are a single person, right, and you want to go catch a person in a big group, right, how difficult is it to catch them?
Quite difficult.
No, you're going to run. It's quite difficult. But if I have 10 people there and there's 4 of us here, we have more chance of catching that person than what we do if we were single. Okay, so that's why they go in packs. That's a very good way of looking at it. Then, if you have a look at the benefits of this type of social organization arise from the successful hunting strategy. And what have I got? Let's see. What have I got underneath this?
What, did
Yes, what picture?
just go a little bit down? Oh, I've got the is it wildebeest? And the dogs?
The wildebeest and the dogs. Now, if you have a look at this, look how clever they are. Okay, you got the wildebeest, okay, the blue wildebeest, and you got a little baby blue wildebeest. Now, there is called the painted dog, right? The painted dog is very scarce. They hide very well. You won't actually see them quite nicely. They're very quiet, right? And they're very stealthful hunters. Now, the wild dog is actually, the painted dog is actually called the wild dog, right? And it's a beautiful animal, very strong, very powerful, and they work so well as a pack. Look at it carefully. This one over here, this single dog over here, hopefully you can see that, it is taking the attention away of the mother. So the mother doesn't affect what's happening on the other side. It takes the mother's attention away, and look what's happening here with the rest. The rest are getting the meat. Okay, they're killing the other animals so they can get the meat. Now, the nice thing about this, or the social animal, this mother will understand, okay, I've lost the kid, and they will leave her alone. She'll run off, and they will have their meat. Now, the nice thing about the social, I'm going to shoot forward, so you must listen to me very carefully, because the notes are all going to tell you this. The nice thing about this is these animals are so socialized, right, that they actually look after each other. Okay, so these guys have come out to hunt. They're the hunting crew. They do the hunting job. Then you get the nurses at home, that all the babies are getting looked after, right? And then you get the adults that can't hunt anymore, and they're not lazy, but they're getting old, right? So what these guys do is they eat their full quickly. They eat quite a lot. They pack their stomachs full. Then they go home, and when they get there, they go to the puppies and to the nurses, and they regurgitate some of the food so that they also get food. So they are looking after each other. They don't have hands to bring it on a plate or put it in the fridge, right? So they take it to their people, and they get looked after. So it's nice. They look after each other. So that's a nice way of looking at it. Everybody has a certain job to do in a community. That's what's nice about the wild dogs, right? This is the nice way of hunting in a pack or being in a pack. You get looked after. Okay. Plus, it's easier to hunt. That's the main key. Right. Now, if I carry on, dominancy is very important when it comes to a pack. Right? Dominancy is very important. The reason why we're having a look at dominancy, right, is dominancy is the one that's dominant is the most powerful ones. So you get the alpha male and the alpha female in wolves, right? You get the big male, which is the big lion, he's the dominant one, right? Now, the reason why you have dominancy is because the strongest gene has got to survive. No one wants a weak gene, right? So that's why you get dominancy. And only the dominant one is allowed to mate. Right? And what they do is they protect their territory. So as I was saying, territorialism. Right, that whole protects it. Okay, so dominancy is very important when it comes to pack situations. Okay, so guys, I think that's what we all have for today, right? These notes are definitely on the side. Am I right, Megan?
Definitely
on the side. Go through them. They're actually quite nice and they're simple, right? I've tried to explain as much as I can, and hopefully you enjoyed it. It was so nice to see you guys again, and I'm sure that I will see you in like soon or in the streets or somewhere. So please don't be shy to come and say hello, and I'll see you soon. Megs.
Thank you, Lou. Well, thank you, Grade 12s, for a fantastic show once again. I just want to tell you that you guys really were posting on our page, asking us questions, and we are so glad that you like Team Megs and Lou. Thank you, Macmillan, for sponsoring our fantastic Life Sciences show. I know grade 12s, it's a lot to get through. You haven't been through it since grade 11, so still a little bit rusty, but Lou and I will be here exactly the same time, exactly the same place, and probably the same day. Well, I hope I come back on Wednesday, so we'll see you next week here on Mindset Learn Extra. Good night.